Well, when I got into office, we had to get our sea legs. I had to set up a process because, my view is it's an appropriate punishment for the worst offenders. We have lengthy reviews and appeals that I think should be shorter, but but I still have a responsibility to look at these cases and to be sure that the person's guilty. And if I honestly thought somebody wasn't, I would not pull the trigger on it. And so we had to do that. Then what happened when COVID hit, it threw a wrench into our corrections. We had to make different changes. And there was a lot going on during COVID, as you remember. And so that kind of just developed a momentum. It wasn't intentional. It was just there was a lot of other stuff. But then I think what happened was, we've heard from a lot of the family members of the victims over the years. And if you think about it, some of these crimes were committed in the 80s. And they wait, and there's appeal, and this and that. And it's like, there's a saying, justice delayed is justice denied. And so I felt that I owed it to them to make sure that this ran very smoothly and promptly. Now, there's a lot that goes into it before it ever gets on my desk. I think that should happen quick, because I do think the death penalty could be a strong deterrent if you had this stuff happen quicker. And there's some instances where somebody goes and shoots 10 people, they should get the death penalty very quickly. And so I think it's been tough for a lot of the families. And so, we were getting feedback, and, it was all, I kind of felt like I may have been letting some of them down. It wasn't intentional. There were a lot of other things that happened. So what we're doing is we're doing it to be able to bring justice to the victims' families. And I think it's important. And I've had people, sometimes they'll come to the office after, and you can just see, after decades, the weight that's kind of been lifted, because they never fully had closure on, and these are really horrific crimes that are happening. So that's really why we're doing it. It's victim driven, and I know we had some interruptions, but it wasn't intentional. We were trying to, as a new governor, you want to come in and get it right. And then a year into my tenure, we had COVID, and that it changed kind of how we were managing the corrections a little bit, and there were just things that were going on. But I think we're in a good spot now, and I want to make sure that people that have exhausted all these appeals over many years, sometimes decades, like when all that's done and they're there, and there's victims' families that are wanting to see justice, that I'm doing my part to deliver that.